Hi guys and gals, Froggy here. What I've got for you today is just a little quick video on checking your engine oil and if the check engine oil level light comes on. This is my '02 Suburban and the check engine oil level light came on. Now I know that it's not low actually. It might be a little low, but what I did to trick the sensor for low engine oil is I parked the car on a steep slope, my driveway. Just in case you're wondering how does an oil level sensor work, well, it's just a float basically, at least on GM cars. This is just talking about the oil level, not the oil life. Those are two different things. The oil level is just a float. If your oil gets too low, the float drops down and there's an electrical contact that happens in the sensor, and the electrical contact sends a message up to your driver information center that says, hey guy, gal, your oil level is low. So I tricked it. Now I'm going to show you how to add some oil. Okay, I think I've got enough light here to shoot this. This is the passenger side of my Suburban. It's a V8 motor. Usually the oil dipstick will have a brightly colored handle on it. This one has a yellow ring, and right next to it is the dipstick where you check the transmission fluid level, which I'm not going to do today. But that's the oil dipstick, and there's where you put the oil in. It's a round cover like that, and it'll say engine oil on it, and it'll tell you what weight to put in there. So how do you check it now that your light has gone off? Well, you need a rag or a paper towel, and what you're going to do is pull this stick. I'm going to put the flashlight down. You're going to pull this stick out. You're going to wipe the bottom of it, and then you're going to put it back in, make sure it's seated all the way down, and then you're going to pull out again and look where the oil leaves a mark on the dipstick. So since I don't have three hands yet, I'm going to have to put this down and do it in steps. Alright, here's the bottom of the dipstick, and I'm going to try and show you. I've wiped it off so it's all clean. It's got some holes and it's got some cross hatches, and this is so that you can see the oil level. There we go. There. See the cross hatches? And there's a bunch of holes. So the oil is going to deposit itself somewhere along there, hopefully. So now I'm going to shut the camera off again. I'm going to put the dipstick in. I'm going to make sure it's seated all the way down that tube right there, and then I'm going to pull it out. Okay, I put it all the way down. I got it out, and to Froggy's surprise, there's only a little bit of oil on the bottom of that dipstick. What does that mean? That means I've been running the oil probably more than a quart low for quite a while. Now, this motor and the oil filter combined takes about 5.5 or 6.5 quarts, somewhere in there. And I don't tow anything with it. I don't go out in the desert off-roading with it. The car gets driven very easily. The truck gets driven very easily. So I'm not really too worried that I've done any damage to the motor. However, I should not have let it get that low. So now I'm going to add a quart. This is some oil that I happen to like. I'm not going to get into synthetics. versus traditional oils. This is a traditional oil, and it's working fine in this motor. My high performance vehicles like my Corvette, I put a synthetic oil in, but that's another video. So I'm going to put this whole quart in. I'm going to put it in right there. Just going to pour it down there, and then I'm going to check the level again. Now, keep in mind one thing. The car is now on the level, or almost on the level. It's halfway in my garage, but it's much more level than it was when I tricked the sensor. So let's dump that quart of oil in there and see what we get. Okay, now I'm going to show you, I'm going to point with my finger. You can probably see it. It came up from the bottom of the stick to the first dot, to the second dot, to the third dot, or hole I should say, first hole, second hole, third hole, and a little bit more. And that's a quart that I added. Came up from there to there. So another half a quart would probably bring it to the top. So I'm not going to do the whole video and show you adding an extra half a quart, but I am going to add an extra half a quart. Now another thing to keep in mind, where are we putting this oil in? We're putting it at the top of the motor, the cylinder head, the passenger side cylinder head, under the valve cover gasket. So it has to trickle down to the oil pan where the low oil level sensor is and where the dipstick measures the oil. So that quart probably, if I ran the engine, shut it off and checked it again, it'd probably come almost to the fourth hole, I'm guessing. So I'm in pretty good shape, but I'm going to add a little bit more. Why is oil important? A lot of reasons. It lubricates the metal parts of your motor that are rubbing up against each other. The crank bearings, the crankshaft bearings, the lifters, the rings that help you get compression when the pistons move up and down into the cylinder heads. It also cools your engine. You think that the water, the coolant, is cooling your engine. Well, the oil is cooling your engine too. Some cars even have engine oil coolers for that reason, because there's a lot of heat that gets taken out of your motor when you're running it hard by the oil. So it's lubrication, it's cooling, and it also prevents rust. So if your car sits for a month or 3 or 4 months and you go to start it up, well, if you didn't have oil in it, it would have probably gotten all rusted up inside and it wouldn't even turn over. So it's important to check your oil. It's important to change your oil at regular intervals. On this truck, I have an oil life monitor system. A light comes on and tells me when to change the oil, and that's based on some mathematical calculations that GM did when they built the truck. So keep it changed, keep it topped off, and now I thought about whether I should even do this, because it's a really pretty basic thing to put on an automotive channel, but then I thought again, there are probably young people that have parents that never taught them to check the oil. Like I taught my son and my daughter how to check the oil, check the coolant. I still don't know whether they do it or not. I end up checking it whenever they come over to the house, but maybe you never had a mom or dad who knew much about cars or trucks. So this is how you would do it. Now there are different systems. One of my BMWs does not even have a dipstick. It just has an electronic oil level monitoring system. But that's another video again. So there you go. Check your oil, change it, and drive safely. Froggy out. If you like this, give me a thumbs up. If you want more from Froggy, subscribe to my channel. See you later.